Heavy snow is moving through the northeast quarter into New Brunswick, Newfoundland, into Quebec, and to parts of the upper Midwest today along the out spine of the Appalachians. And we have some heavy rain, moderate at least in the higher terrain here, Washington State. We had the severe weather moving through the southeast and the deep south on the past several days, and that's moving out of the area. Storm system moving further to the north. In its wake, we're going to have much colder temperatures and chances for snow in places we may not have had any so far this year, including the deep south. And so that's going to be a pretty big focus from my videos this week. Good morning to everybody out there. I hope that you've had a good weekend so far. Like my video if you like it, subscribe, share with your friends, and let's get started with talking about the current hazards. So, what are the current hazards? So, let's get started with that here. We got some winter weather advisories and a lot of marine warnings here today. And so we got snow, right, going on here. So, a lot of these relate to that, and freezing temperatures at the surface with lingering precip may be making travel hazardous today, this morning anyway. So, way up to the north in Lake Michigan area, we got winter storm warning, winter weather advisories, special weather statements, I'm sorry, in the green associated with some snow squalls and different snow showers moving through in the mid parts of New York, Pennsylvania, Massachusetts, Vermont. Further north into Maine, we got winter weather advisory, and further north, like I said, winter storm warning here. We got some wind advisories for the Appalachian Mountains, with northwest flow here. Lake wind advisories into South Carolina. And into Florida, we got dense fog with the special weather statements associated with those ahead of the moisture. See the moisture here, stagnant air. So, marine weather statements as well. A lot of marine statements here. Some flood warnings ongoing here from the rain that came through. A little bit of rainfall here into South Texas, not highly impactful. All right. Let's see. Into the south, into Arizona. Looks like we're going to have winds, um, east winds with gusts of 40, 50 miles per hour in this area. Cold weather advisory. Very cold wind chill, 7 to 15 degrees. Woo! That's cold in New Mexico, man. Wow. Okay. Yeah, very dry conditions out there right now. So, yeah. So, Los Angeles area. This is a big problem here, right? We got a high wind warning. East winds 35 to 45 miles per hour with gusts of 65 miles per hour or greater at times. So, very dangerous weather today. Just from the the downsloping winds here, and further to the north here into California, cold weather advisory. Kind of weird conditions out here out west with this cold weather. It's very unusual to have this. Um, Biggest effect, of course, is going to be to crops. So we got this extreme cold warning, upper 20s to low 30s. So it doesn't seem like it's cold, but for out here in California, it sure is. So be mindful of that. All right. When you say these people out there are wimps, well, they're not used to this, right? I mean, it doesn't get that cold here that usually. So further to the north, enough about that. Air stagnation, ongoing, freezing fog, just a lot of moisture trapped, stagnant air, just not a lot of flow in the atmosphere. So people at risk for asthma should pay attention today as this continues. Looks like we got a wind advisory here. Southwest winds occasionally gusting 50 to 60 through the today, increasing to 65 through tonight into Monday in the parts of Montana as well. So quite windy out west here. As far as current temps go, pretty cold up here in the northern tier of the U.S., although not brutally cold, but generally Minnesota, Iowa in the single digits to teens, and negative single digits here in parts of New Mexico. Interesting in Boulder and Denver area 31, just to the south is 19. So quite a big range of temperatures here. Even in the California mountains, see along the coast here in the 30s, right? But Los Angeles area, Oxnard 61, Los Angeles 50. So quite a range of temperatures here. Not brutally cold, but very cold. Cold temperatures will be reinforced over the coming days, moving further south into the good portion of the U.S. So, what's the weather look like this week for, for middle Georgia, Georgia area? Excuse me. Mostly dry this week. Precipitation maybe overnight, Wednesday night. I wouldn't rule out some snow in the higher elevation mountainous terrain of the northwest, northeast Georgia. But generally, in today, depending on where you're at, between 40 and 60, lows tonight, below freezing for most of the state. Tomorrow, highs in the upper 40s to low 50s. The lows between 26 and 32, depending where you're at. For Tuesday, partly cloudy, dry, high 55 to 60, warming up a little bit in the middle of the week. Lows 35 to 40 degrees Fahrenheit. Cold, but not bitterly cold, right? Wednesday night, highs 50 to 60, about the same as Tuesday. Lows 25 to 37. That's not exact, of course, but excuse me. Thursday, cooling off again. Punch of cold air coming back. Lows Thursday night, 20 to 26. So pretty cold on Thursday. Cooler, clearing skies. Mostly sunny on Friday. Highs generally from the mid 40s, mid upper 40s to upper 50s, with lows around freezing. For the short term, so forecast for today, we went over this, but this is a 2-day forecast here from the National Weather Service, Peachtree City. They put this stuff out every day, so hope you all make use of it. North Georgia, not getting out of the 30s looking like today. Further to the south, of course, warmer. Mostly sunny skies, maybe some light rain way far south with the cold front. Excuse me. Low temperatures tonight, like I said, near 20 to the low 20s, way far to the north here. Below freezing for most of the state today. Clear skies, or tonight, excuse me, clear skies. And tomorrow, again, generally in the upper 40s to low 50s, with partly cloudy, partly sunny to sunny skies, depending where you're at. So, as far as the 15-day temperature forecast for Georgia, we talked about the first 5 days here, and we get into the period after that, looking to be below normal temps, and then warming up towards the end of the month here. At least that's the trend right now. But below normal temps for lows up until as we get towards the end of the month, then finally warming up some overnight, maybe reaching above normal temps towards the end of the period. We'll see how that plays out, but that's the trend right now. As far as the day 3 to 7 U.S. hazards outlook, the 13th through the 17th, looks like we have a risk for high winds up here in the northern high plains and the central plains, the east side of the Rockies here. Heavy snow and precip and high winds possible here into southern parts of Alaska during this period. Now we move on to risk of heavy precip January 18th to the 24th. This is an 8 to 14 day hazards outlook. Very useful graphics here. Not expecting a lot of rainfall, heavy rainfall at least, during this period. However, risk of heavy snow is increasing here along the Appalachians into the northeast. This has moved further to the east than it was yesterday, all along the mid-Atlantic here. It had the risk, I think, the 16th through the 18th, but moving further out into this period, can be quite active here. And depending on trends, I wouldn't be surprised if we get a little push further south here. I don't know if heavy snow's really in the, the plan here, I guess you would say, for the deep south. But I'm seeing trends towards possible having some snow way in the deep south during this period. So we're going to have to keep an eye on that. All right. So, but here's what the slight risk is for heavy snow right now. High winds have been generally in the same area as these systems move through, the 18th through the 20th and the 18th through the 19th on the west coast. The west coast is more of a Santa Ana type wind event, not related to, storms coming on shore. It's more of a just a strictly downsloping, funneling wind event out here. Temperatures, you can see where the coldest temperatures are going to be through the period of risk of hazardous temperatures along the Gulf Coast into central Florida. All right, so this is could be a big deal for the orange, the crops. All right, hopefully it won't have any effect, but we got to be mindful of that during these different periods here, 19th through the 24th, 18th, 19th, 18th through 20th. All right. So we look at 6 to 10 day temperature outlook, 16th through the 20th. This is generally in the period where the 8 to 14 day, but not quite. Just in the middle of it here. You see the dark blue down here. High confidence below normal temps for most of the east coast here. Near normal up to the north here, and above normal out west. A good chance of above normal temps out here out west. So, and a good chance down here in the southeast to the Florida Peninsula. Parts of Alaska, depending where you're at, above and below. More confidence further to the southeast, above and below in the Aleutian Island chain. You can see those graphics here, and below to near normal in the Hawaiian Islands. Then we look at precip chances. We're looking at below normal precip probabilities here, especially in the dark brown out west here. This is a big pattern change from the past several weeks, right? Because we had this atmospheric river that's kind of taking a break for right now, with maybe some above normal precip chances further to the north here, near normal, the mid-Atlantic to the upper Midwest. Above for most of Alaska, Hawaii, parts of the Aleutian Island chain here, and maybe below normal precip further to the southeast and the far southeastern Alaska province here. So moving out to 8 to 14 days, what are we looking at for temperatures? As we issued yesterday, towards the end of the month, either to near normal to below normal chances. Generally east of the Mississippi up into parts of the upper Midwest, parts of the northern high plains. High pressure shifting further to the east with centered around Intermountain West with above normal temperatures looking likely here. Hawaii above normal, Aleutian Islands above, and Alaska below. And we get in the 8 to 14 day precip outlook, still below normal in the south into the mid-Atlantic, all along the southern tier of the U.S., the exception of the far southern parts here where it says near normal. And Mississippi Valley, low Mississippi Valley, mid Mississippi Valley, maybe above here. Not a lot of confidence with that, to near normal in the gray areas. with above normal further to the north in the northern high plains. Hawaii looking like above normal precip during this period, above normal into Alaska, depending on where you're at, near normal below further south, and above the near normal to above, depending on where you're at in the Aleutian Island chain as well. So we move out further to the, end of January to first part of February. What does the Climate Prediction Center say about temperatures? Um, Generally, the northwest flow will continue here over the northeast with equal chances of it being above or below normal in between here in the white and above out west here. So for the northeast, looking like it's going to stay colder than normal, right? And Alaska, trending below normal, right? Hawaii in the darker color here, kind of maroon, trending above normal in parts of the Aleutian Islands, either below or above or equal chances here, depending where you're at. Precip, looks like some precip may be returning to the northwest corridor here of the United States. A good portion of the U.S. Uncertain here, equal chances above and below for precip during this period. Above maybe along the eastern seaboard here, the mid-Atlantic to the parts of the southeast, and below further to the north here, upper Midwest and to the northeast New England area. And Alaska, Hawaii, depending where you're at. Alaska is always seems like it's split depending on where you're at. Such a big state here. Below, equal, and above further to the east. Hawaii above, equal chances to below, depending on a precip, depending where you're at in the Aleutian Island chain. So now let's switch it to the European model, which is arguably the best model out there, right? And this is starting 06Z initialization with the European model, right? Showing basically the same thing the GFS was showing here, right? So let's move this through time a little bit and see what it does. We have Appalachian snow here, which we know is ongoing and going to continue to go through here. Yeah, getting my words twisted through as our system moves to the north. Northern stream energy. You see some southern stream energy here, northern stream energy up here, some up into the far northeast. This is Tuesday, right? Energy diving to the south here. And let's see what happens with this. You get into Thursday. Wants to develop a low off the coast here, right? It's a little bit delayed compared to the GFS. And further to the south here with this low pressure, multiple low pressures really, as the cold air filters in, you have what looks like a negatively tilted trough here, which helps throw back precip to the west. Get further out the 16th, and that's where this ends. So this is the max time frame for this run. Let's go further out. This is an earlier run. Okay, the previous run goes all the way out as far as the GFS goes. That trough digs way far to the south here, right? And the European really doesn't do anything during the Martin Luther King time frame. No, Martin Luther King holiday doesn't really bring a storm to the south. We'll have to see what the Euro does later on. But for the northern tier of the U.S., the boundary seems to be for a little bit further to the north, and you have snowfall streaming further to the north here, with just some light rain, just generally nuisance here. Now, you get further out towards the end of the month. This was roughly the same scenario the GFS was showing, potential icing here on this boundary, heavy snow to the north here. This could be a major problem here, guys, if this happens. All right, look at this. Heavy heavy ice here. Freezing rain, sleet, snow. Just stout high pressure to the north. Moisture being thrown up to the, looks like we have a CAD, cold air damming going on here. And that's the end of the run. But quite an active pattern here, even for the European, even though not as bullish for winter weather for the south for the midterm here towards next weekend, right? So that's that. So when you look at the European model and with the 500 millibars, and as we've been doing with the Canadian and GFS, we have the most current system here, moving through the flow, right? We got this mid-level feature out west here, which is shown on the other couple models, right? And you have a progressive flow moving through here in the northern tier, but not a heck of a lot going on. You have some mid-level vort maxes, and you have this mid-level vorticity maximum moving through Texas, right? And does it meet up on the East Coast? Let's see what happens here. We get into Wednesday, into Thursday. Really wants to dig a deep trough here, and that's why it's depicting what it is on the radar, the surface features, right? Quite a deep trough here. I would say this is the most aggressive model of them all as far as the trough goes. Doesn't really take a negative tilt, but quite intense here. All right. So the 540 line, you can see some enhancement of the flow here as well. Now we have Fort Max up here. Just a lot of energy here, all right, along this boundary. All right, and you have energy here, energy here, energy here. Do they get together to do anything? Hard to say at this point, but definitely going to be active wherever this stuff sets up, right? And if we go to the previous run, we can go further out, all right? So energy moving through. It wants to have a similar setup here as a GFS, but the 540 line isn't as far south here, all right? We have two different, maybe a bunch of different vort maxes here, vorticity maximum moving through the flow. So it's a very complex forecast, interactions of these different troughs and things, and where the cold air sets up. My cat is climbing up on my chair, so she's wanting to be annoying. Hey, Pearl. All right, so yeah, so that moves through the flow here, and you can see it wants to dump down another boundary, right? And that's where this potential winter weather can really set up here. Hey, Pearl. Now you get further out. Look at this southern stream energy. It'd be interesting to see this plays out, but this is really far out towards the end of the month, so there's plenty of time to watch this. So everybody wants to know what the snow totals are going to be, right? And this is the European model. The latest run only goes 144 hours out, right? So this is what the models are depicting as snow. Look in the Mexico. Interesting. All right, and we have the most snow up here in the Northeast, which we know about, right? Appalachians, lake effect favorite areas. Right, not a lot going on till through Tuesday. You see the northern stream energy really getting going. Mexico, not much for the Northwest here. Canada gets in on it, right? let's go through this, and now we see where the snow potential along the East Coast. Well, in this model run, this is through Saturday. Most snow, we don't see much on the East Coast. Most snow is in the Appalachians here, right? Go back, we go further out. We can go further out here with this. Snow totals maybe increase out west. Energy driving further to the south here. You can see what we talked about with that boundary setting up, where the heaviest snow might be. All right, this would be crazy if this set up. All right, so this fantasy land out here, but you get the general idea. So what does the future hold for areas east of the Rockies especially? And that's going to be our main focus of interest here in the coming days. I mean, I live in the southeast and the east, so of course this area is most important to me. Sorry guys out west. But I get excited about potential snow events here, just like my friend Mitch West does. So I'm going to talk about it here, and this is the GFS, most recent GFS run. Okay, this is starting off at 06Z today. It's a hour 6, right? And we have our system exiting to the north here, and that precip out west. All right, so you see the greens. Blues represent snow, although not looking blue, but that's the snow. Okay, so we move this through time. What is the GFS doing? It takes that moisture and snow to the north. You can see out west here, and you can see the 540 line where the coldest air is, still pretty far to the north here, with just moisture streaming through the southern flow, but not doing a lot. Okay. Another low pressure develops to the north up here with high pressure in its wake, bringing cold air further south. You can see the 540 line, thickness line here, which generally indicates 0 degrees Celsius, which is freezing line, right? Just as a general rule, okay? So that system moves to the north, and then you get this trough diving down here further to the west, and we have low pressure trying to develop off the east coast here. And what do we get? We get the potential for a heavy snow event along the east coast here. You can see the deeper purples and blues here. Definitely, this is Friday. Okay, so this is the GFS run. All right. And so we go through a little bit further. We have another low pressure diving to the south here. Looks like some more energy out west. All right. You can see there's some energy here. Energy meaning maybe mid-level flow, mid-level vorticity. And I'm going to go through that a little bit as well. Interesting to see this low pressure down here into Pacific. I wonder what's going on there. But you have two pieces of energy here. Okay. Do they get together and do anything? Well, with this GFS run, which is the most current one, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. All right. 06Z, which is roughly 2 a.m. Eastern time. Heavy snow. Look like some snow on the backside here of this trough coming through. All right. For the deep south, with maybe heavy snow here along the east coast, low pressure riding up on this boundary. Looks like an energy transfer off the coast here. So looking quite possible we'll have a snowstorm here for the Northeast around MLK weekend. All right. So what happens further out? The trough, that system moves to the north we have cold air in place across a good portion of the northern tier of the U.S. All right, and wherever this sets up, and we have energy moving through the northern stream, we get snow. Right. See what's happening here further out. I know this is far out. This isn't a forecast. Right. We have this energy up here, more energy to the south. If these two were to meet up, which they almost do, you got this boundary here where we could have a bad icing event, heavy snow, depending on where this sets up, guys, okay? So, a lot of uncertainty here this far out. This is towards the end of the month, and you still have northern stream energy coming off the Pacific here, streaming to the east here, right? Another boundary, more boundaries here, just like stuff just keeps pummeling the east. And then further out, you have another storm here. So, very active pattern according to the GFS, right? so we move on to the, we got the GFS here, right? 500 millibars, mid-level flow. That system moving to the north, the current system, right? Not a lot going on in the short term. Move into Tuesday. We have our southern stream energy here. Northern stream energy here. All right. This Vort Max dive to the south. And you can see what happens here. This consolidates pretty well here into a pretty potent system, although it's not really negatively tilted at this point. And let's see what happens here. It really wants to take on almost a negative tilt here as we get into Thursday, into Friday, which is why it's depicting a pretty stout system off the East Coast. We have more energy moving through the flow here as well. Just behind this, another Vort Max further to the north here into Canada. More energy further to the west here into Colorado. All right, so trough up here, more energy, mid-level energy just all over the place here. Very active with this model, right? What happens as we get towards Sunday? Very intense jet streak here depicted by this model. Here's your 540 line, which is just 0C at this generally the freezing line, right? So this is likely why we got this model depicting cold air with this maybe jet streak, right? So we'll have to see how this plays out, but we have this southerly flow right on the east side, and see how this plays out here. Doesn't really take on a negative tilt to it, moves further out, but definitely could have some. This is definitely why this is playing out the way it is on the surface features, right? Now we move further out. Excuse me, talking a lot today. So anyway, northern stream energy, that system lives out to the north. Northern stream energy is maintained here. Just and some southern stream energy here as well. You can see this boundary here, this general boundary just getting uncertain at this point, but you can see why we got this enhanced precip chances here, because look at all this energy and flow just generally west to east, right? Just the battleground for winter weather with this model. And then we looks like we might have a little bit of a pattern change here, right? With high pressure building in, but we'll have to see as we get further out. All right, my cat won't leave me alone, but So the GFS snow totals, let's see, this is the 10-to-1 ratio snow totals. This is the most recent run. This goes out 384 hours. Northern part of the Northeast here, we know where that snow is, into Canada. Let's push this forward through Thursday. Right, so you can see into the Northeast where it wants to have heavier snow here, right? Appalachians, Southern Alps, all right? For my friend Mitch West, he may want to go to Gatlinburg this weekend. We'll see. And you see this snow may be pushing through the southern part of this area, right? Snow totals. Not zero here in the south, guys. So MLK Day, although not showing a lot. I mean, 1 or 2 inches of snow could be kind of a festive thing for us down here. But the Northeast looking to have the most, right? Northeast, Appalachians. So long term, going further out, snow totals, you could see what happens here. So this model, and if you go back and compare it to the European, it's quite different. But I would expect this further out, guys. So yeah, we'll see how this plays out. So what does a Canadian model show? I like to show all the different models here, right? So roughly showing the same thing as what's going on with the European and GFS. We move through time here, showing the Appalachian snow moving through in the short term. You have northern extreme energy coming, pushing through. It looks like a trough, right? It doesn't. It whiffs here. It doesn't really develop a coastal low like the European and GFS does. But then you have this northern stream energy moving further south through the flow here. It really wants to dive this. This is Friday. And you get maybe some snow here in the Northeast, the Mid-Atlantic, but nothing in the South. So looks like the GFS is the outlier at this point. And then you have further on here, just general snow showers. And you get to hour 240, and this isn't far enough out to compare it to the longer range for the other two models, but it's uncertain anyway. But generally, the Canadian doesn't show nearly as much activity further south. All right, so when we talk about energy in the atmosphere, what I like to look at is vorticity, right? So vorticity of 500 millibars gives us a good sense of the lift that could be present in the atmosphere and where surface lows could develop. So this is the European, I mean, not the European, the Canadian. What I'm going to do is compare the Canadian to the GFS and the European, okay? Canadian, GFS, European. This is Canadian, 500 millibar vorticity, right? So this is today, this system moving out to the north. You have northern stream energy, but the 540 line is pretty far to the north here, and you have this energy further to the south. Okay, so not a lot going on at this point. This is Monday. See this trough, this energy digging in the upper Midwest, and energy further south here as well in the Texas. Okay, now do these two actually meet up and congeal into something that's meaningful for the East Coast? Not really here, right? You have this energy here. It's just kind of a mess here with not any centralized or concentrated area here, right? So that's one of the reasons I think why the the Canadian isn't really showing a lot going on here for the East Coast, right? So you have this southern stream energy, northern stream energy not phasing, okay? And you have your kind of your parent 500 millibars up here, mid-level feature, all right? These two systems move out. This stays up there, although it gets kind of strung out. And you see a stronger vorticity maximum moving through the flow here. It's very complex pattern right here with this kind of digging trough, and then you have a flow to the east here, right? And this model in particular, we have a trough, but not digging that far south, right? But we do have a cold front maybe pushing through, but it's still not getting us act together too much here. More vorticity moving through the flow here. Very active pattern, at least for the northern part of the U.S. With this, right? And towards the end of this run, this starts to lift out finally. So that's the Canadian at 500 millibars. As far as the Canadian model, what does it show for snowfall totals? Well, I mean, let's go through it and see. We know what's going on now. It shows that snow in the Mexico here, northeast Appalachians, Wednesday and Thursday. I think we have a pretty good amount of confidence we're going to have a snowfall in the Appalachians, but where the highest amount set up is yet to be determined. Again, the Friday, Saturday, Sunday, get some more snow in the northeast, Mexican plateau maybe, the mountains, and the northern high plains. More energy moving through. The Canadian definitely isn't as bullish as the GFS with the southern stream snow. And this is about through 21 January. Let's see, go back one run. It doesn't go any further out. So we'll just have to see how this plays out. But we all can see in general, especially there's a lot of confidence further to the north, we're going to have heavy snow over the next week and a half, okay? So, especially in the lake effect areas. So in closing, what does this all mean for us, right? I'm trying to, break all this down. We know that there's going to be definitely, and the experts say this, it'll be colder in the eastern U.S. Where will the most snow fall in the short term? We know where that is. But when we have southern snowfall events, especially, we got to get some model agreement. And there still isn't a lot of model agreement about where, especially for the deep south, where it's going to set up. As we get further into the northeast, we have a better confidence in that just because of climatology dictates that. And typically it's much colder up there, right, this time of year, so you have a better chance of snow, things like that. But you can see out west, we get some cold pushes of air, but out west, and then out west, it's going to be dry, guys, and warmer than normal, it looks like. Definite change from what it's been. So, of course, the pattern is going to flip again eventually, but we get to talk about some exciting stuff for the next week or two as far as snow goes. So, hope you have a good Sunday and God bless.